You're live.
Hello, I'm Michael, and this is Tarot by the Tree. In the past, we did our first 10 lessons, which describes the system that links the tarot cards to the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. In the Bible, they mention the two trees. The first tree you can eat the fruit of when you're young. The second tree, you have to wait till a certain maturity. These are the two trees that the tarot cards were designed to teach us. Of course, over the passing of time, there was a lot of hostility toward different belief systems, and somehow the Kabbalah got swallowed up, and the three major religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam succeeded. What we're going to look at today is a reading. As I mentioned, we did our first 10 lessons, which describes, that's the foundational series. That'll show how the cards were made to describe the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. It tells a story, so you're not forced to memorize the cards. Once you sort of know the system and you know how the cards work, if you want to do a more in-depth look at each individual cards, Joss and I then did a series of videos on the 22 major arcana cards and how they relate directly to the two trees, and then with the 56 minor arcana and how they indirectly relate. So those videos are online, and they should give you a really firm foundation of knowledge about the tarot cards, and you won't be in a position of having to guess or try to figure out or have the book handy, because you'll understand rather than just memorize. As we just refresh our memory, the tarot cards are divided into the four suits. There's cups. I don't know what you can see in camp.
Yeah, you can see
Happiness. There's staves, which are our plans and our enterprise. There's coins, which are our possessions, in a sense, our income. But more than just stockpiling, it is our ability to be independent and not a burden on others. And with that independence, we can gain our strength and even help others. Finally, there's swords, which is our power. The swords are kept sheathed because every time we use our power, we suffer a little bit of unhappiness, a little bit of injury as a result. Okay, that's it for the overview. And we're going to move in today to a reading. With the readings, I'm just telling you what I use, what I found works really well for me. And it always starts with a vertical 3-card spread representing the active bit of psychology in the person we're looking at. And today we're looking at Karla. And Karla, right, she's a young lady. She's feeling a sense of frustration, wanting more, maybe wanting to add some success and adventure into her life. She'd like to move, perhaps quit her job, travel, and gain clarity. So there may be aspects of her life now that she finds confusing, and she wants to know, who is the better option for me as a partner? And of course, for most of us, I think having a partner in life is our foundation from which we can then successfully and happily explore the other aspects of our life. Right now, her emotional state is indecisive. She's not sure if she should leave or not. And she's a bit fearful, and rightly so. We'll just take a little break here and we'll look at that kind of rational fear. It's good to be fearful of something like this because moving is no guarantee of anything. Quite often, if a person is having problems where they are, when they move, they may carry those problems with them. If it's the type of problem that they don't carry with them, then you can wonder, was it an insurmountable thing at the time? Was moving the only option? Were there forces at work in the original home that would make it dangerous, impossible, or frustrating to thrive there? We don't know. But the idea that moving is any guarantee of happiness, of course, is just not a known entity. Moving is going to present a whole new set of problems, like you won't be familiar with the things, you won't have a support system and things like that. But moving can be a fresh start, and we don't know. So what we're going to look at is Karla, a 3-card vertical spread, and we're going to look at her psychology now. This won't be the sum total of Karla. It will just discuss the 3 active parts for psychology right now. Then we've divided the next part into 2. This is what would happen if she stayed where she is. This is what would happen if she moved, if she traveled, and everything became new, her new job, her new home. Projects, she's mentioned that she has some projects that she works on. And in this case, travel might involve a new partner. This is how I'm going to do it. Now, we could put something on the end to see maybe her feelings in the future. We could put something over top, underneath. One thing I'm considering is penciling in, what if we did something like this? And we said that this is the past influence, and this is a supporting card for the past influence. I'm going to lay these, but I'm not going to use them till the end. This is the fortune that we're going to tell. I'm just going to put this, and we'll look at it to the end, and we'll decide, was it a good idea to leave this out, or should we have included that? As always, to begin with, meticulously shuffle your cards. It's difficult to shuffle cards and keep them all aligned. One way I do it is I will deal the cards into 4 piles. At the end, I will group the piles. And then from then on, all shuffling is done in, I don't know if it's called riffling, but this kind of a, you can't shuffle the way you might a regular deck of cards like that, because you will reverse some. A reverse card in my readings, very unusual, because I take time at the beginning to make sure all the cards are faced the same way. The cards weren't designed to have 2 meanings. The cards were with great difficulty and research, were designed to have a meaning. If a card turned up in my reading upside down, to me, it would mean what this card tells you is not going to be present in this reading. I would say a reverse card would be the absence of that card's influence. But the cards don't have 2 meanings, and reverse cards should almost never be seen. So we've gone through the cards. We're thinking now of Karla, her psychology, the security of staying, the potential of travel. We always start with Karla, a vertical 3-card spread, and this will tell us the active parts of her psychology right now. Should she decide to stay, we're going to look at staying and traveling in terms of 3 things: her job, her home, and her projects. and her partner. If she decides to stay, this would be her job, this would be her home and projects, and this would be her partner. If she decided to travel with all the difficulty and risk that that involves, we would be looking at her new job, her new home, and perhaps the continuation of her projects, and what a new partner might look like. We'll look at this at the very end. This is what I'm not including, and we'll say if that's a good idea or not. This would represent the past, the things leading up to what's happening now. Okay, well, she's mentioned there's a little bit of fear in the future, which is natural. As a side note, I think we already all know this, that fear is a very healthy emotion. If you're at the edge of a cliff or on a set of railway tracks, you should have fear, at least in the back of your mind. And bravery is doing something despite fear. It's not the absence of fear. The absence of fear is foolhardiness. Bravery is doing something despite being afraid. There is no bravery without the element of fear. So we'll move on now. We'll take a look at Karla, how she is right now, the things that are going on in her mind and motivating her right now. At the beginning, we have Karla has a certain degree of financial independence, in the sense she can feed herself, house herself, and she could even look forward to travel if that's her inclination. She will help people. She likes to share, and when she sees someone in need, she is willing to help them. There is a sense in Karla of righteousness and sort of an inner knowledge. She does not give charity to anyone who asks. It is important to her, that's what the scales represent, that people be measured. She does not want to waste her efforts. She does not want to waste her finances. She will invest in someone's future if she sees signs of gain in that person, if she sees signs of goodness in that person. However, she is not a doormat, and she is not going to just hand out the things she has worked for to anyone just because they have a need. That's the first aspect of Karla, the sense of sharing, but sharing that is contingent upon her evaluation of the person and their potential. The second aspect of Karla that's working right now, we move from coins into cups, and this is happiness, this is joy, but it's from the past. Karla is remembering feelings from a time when she had perhaps a special friend, a special place. And those are the feelings she would like to rekindle in her life again, to have that kind of fundamental joy, that kind of happiness back in her life. The third aspect of Karla, now we see the Knight of Cups. And again, we see happiness. This is a very powerful figure. This is a person who can make other people feel happy when they're near them. It's an inner joy. It's the kind of thing that Karla wants to enjoy life. The wings on his helmet suggest that a lot of the happiness now is coming from his imagination, as Karla has, as we've seen in Karla, part of her imagination lingers in the past. Part of the knight's imagination is actually in the future as he carries out the king's wishes. So part of his happiness and his imagination are in his hopes for what is going to come to pass. As a recap, Karla is in a position to help some people who deserve it. She remembers a better time that she would like to recapture. Her emotional happiness is looking forward to a better future. She is emotionally a strong and powerful person. Should Karla choose to stay, and we are exploring vertical 3-card spreads the last few readings, if Karla decides to stay, this will be her life in terms of her job, her home and projects, and her partner. If she decides to stay, her job, she will become known for some aspect of her job. This is a person who is coming back in with garlands around their head and a wreath on one of their staffs. Their plans have worked out. This person has gained a reputation for seeing things through to the end, and they can be depended on. In time, if she stayed at her job, she would become one of the people that other employees would come and ask for guidance. Her home and her projects, if she stayed, that would become extremely busy for her. And I don't know, it could be pets, children, it could be the project takes off and becomes very busy. This is a person who is making an income with great difficulty. They have to dance and juggle at the same time, and the rough water in the background means they can have no help from friends, acquaintances, partners, and things like that. They're alone. They can do it all, but only with great difficulty. Finally, as far as her partner goes, we see in this case an independent woman of coins, the bird on her hand, the hooded Merlin or falcon is controlled thought. This is a very high ranking, it's a very good card. This is a card of a woman who has embraced her gender and her role as an independent, wise, and strong person. We can interpret this in many ways. One of the ways we could interpret this as a single woman. That doesn't mean that she doesn't have a partner or friends on the outside, but it means that she is totally secure in her aloneness. She doesn't need anybody. She may admit people, she may want people, but she can be quite happy alone. So as a recap, should Karla decide to stay, she will become knowledgeable in her job and sought after for experience. Her home and projects will become extremely busy, so busy that she will need some sort of help, partnership, or work reduction. It will become too busy. And as far as her partner goes, if she stays, she will reach a point of emotional independence where she can enjoy people at any level, but her happiness is not dependent on them. Okay, if she stays, that's her future. It's good, but her home life and projects are going to become a little bit too much for her. But it does suggest that her plans do come to fruition and that she becomes a very wise and balanced person. What if she decides to pack up and leave and decides to her job, her home and projects, and her partner, maybe a new life would change all three of those things for the better. We'll see what would happen. If Karla decided to travel, what would her new job be like? This is the star. This is the highest form of love. This is giving to the earth and waters. Your nakedness is nothing to hide, nothing more to give, and you have no hope of reward. This is the flip side of the lover's card, and it is love without asking for something. It's, as I mentioned, it's the highest form. It's giving without any hope of receiving. Something, if she traveled, her new job, she would find something that would absolutely capture her mind and her heart, and she would be devoted to it. For better or worse, I suppose, her new home and projects. This is the Queen of Cups, extremely high ranking. There is no one more powerful in the realm of happiness than her. She's the only one to have so ornate a cup, which suggests a lot of her happiness comes from her imagination. And that does go back to that middle card of Karla, where a lot of her happiness now is coming from her imagination. Unlike this card, the Queen, her imagination doesn't just exist in the past. A lot of her imagination is actually projecting towards the future about how her plans will develop, because it is the nature of queens to improve over time. And finally, the new partner. As far as partnership goes, should she travel, when it comes to her partner, she would be looking at maybe moving on again. So she would be successful where she is, but her new partner might not be all that she needs and wants in life. This is a card of somebody who has done well, who has established plans and enterprise, but is now looking on to what the next hurdle or challenge will be. So we'll just give a very brief recap, and then we'll look at the cards we didn't include just to decide. So Karla has a sense of fairness and giving to people who deserve it. Her happiness comes from past memories, and happiness is a very part of her person. Is a very large part of her personality. It is part of her power, and much of her happiness again comes from her imagination, from the past in this card, and projecting forward to the future in this card. If she stays, she will become important and wise. Her home at her job, her home projects are going to become too busy, too frenetic. As far as partners go, she will find, should she stay, that her independence becomes more important to her, and she is very successful on her own. Should she travel, she will become so enwrapped with something that she just wants to give. She wants to save or to help somebody. Her happiness, she's the master. She feels great joy. A lot of it comes from her imagination, not just the past, but for her future plans. So these two, she's giving everything, but she has a firm plan for the future. And as far as her partner goes, she's looking ahead past that. She's not ready to settle yet, and she's still ready to move on. So that's what we have for you, Karla. Now, what we didn't include, and we'll just pretend we did now. For some reason, I just decided not to, but then I couldn't shake the feeling that, what if we did? So, okay, what if we did? Let's pretend that I started the reading out with, before Karla's present psychology and her desire to stay or travel, there were past events. And those past events were characterized communication, messages, too much coming at her, too many people with plans and ideas. It was a jumble. It was never ending. It was sort of a weight on her mind, and that is supported by the Page of Pentacles, who is somebody representing the Queen, and but this is Pentacles and this is Cups, and the plans for the future of her wealth. So in the past, this was, and remember, I chose not to include this, but if I had ever included it, it would say that in the past, she had too many demands on her plans, with other people always wanting their plans. And supporting this was the idea of money, of having money in the future. So that was always in her mind, of having some sort of security as she grew older. Okay, well, that's it, Karla. I hope this was at least interesting to you. And this is sort of a progression on the idea of the fundamental part of my readings that always begin with a vertical 3-card spread. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye for now.